first skill, Justice Blades. Lapu-Lapu releases 2 boomerangs in the designated direction. Both boomerangs deal damage to enemies hit on their way out and back. A well-positioned cast of Justice Blades allows Lapu-Lapu to hit the target up to 4 times with the boomerangs. Heavy Sword Stance first skill, Land Shaker. Lapu-Lapu gathers strength with his heavy sword, during which enemies under the sword's shadow will be slowed. Then, Lapu-Lapu strikes with his heavy sword in a designated direction, dealing physical damage to enemies hit and stunning them. Twin Blade Stance second skill, Jungle Warrior. Lapu-Lapu charges in a designated direction, slashing with his twin blades and dealing damage to the enemies on the path. Hitting multiple enemies using Jungle Warrior allows Lapu-Lapu to quickly charge his passive, Bravery Blessing. Heavy Sword Stance second skill, Storm Sword. Lapu-Lapu whirls his heavy sword, dealing damage to nearby enemies. For each enemy hero hit, Lapu-Lapu gains a certain proportion of damage reduction. Twin Blade Stance Ultimate, Bravest Fighter. Lapu-Lapu leaps up in the air, combines his twin blades into one, and lands on the ground, dealing damage to enemies in the area and slowing them down. After which, Lapu-Lapu enters the heavy sword stance with all his skills enhanced and basic attack damage increased. Bravest Fighter grants Lapu-Lapu 5 times the Bravery Blessing compared to other skills. Heavy Sword Stance Ultimate, Raging Slash. Lapu-Lapu releases 3 continuous slashes forward with his heavy sword, during which Lapu-Lapu is immune to control effects. Right after each slash, he is able to change his direction and slightly move. Passive, Homeland Defender. Each time Lapu-Lapu deals damage, he gains Bravery Blessing, halved from non-hero units. When reaching full stacks of Bravery Blessing, Lapu-Lapu's next basic attack or Justice Blades will be enhanced, granting Lapu-Lapu a shield.
And gameplay. The passive, Power of the Einherjar. This is the core ability of Freya's revamp. Every 2 attacks grants her a Sacred Orb. By consuming up to 3 Sacred Orbs, she can enhance her skill to different degrees. Meanwhile, for each skill cast, the attack speed of her next 2 basic attacks is greatly increased. This passive totally evolves Freya's gameplay and effectively improves her sustained damage output. First skill, Leap of Faith. Freya leaps to the target location, damaging and pulling the enemy's hit. By consuming Sacred Orb, she can increase the damage radius and pulling distance. As a versatile skill, Leap of Faith did not change much from the old version. But with 3 Sacred Orbs consumed, it becomes a powerful initiation and crowd control skill. You can also use it as a straightforward escape tool. Second skill, Spirit Combo. By consuming Sacred Orb, Freya can use this skill up to 4 times. The first 3 casts are the same. Freya charges forward, dealing damage to and slowing the enemy's hit. With the 4th cast, she smashes the ground and knocks enemies airborne with a leap attack. Besides, every time she casts a skill, she gains a stackable shield. This skill is the core of Freya's new gameplay. The 4 continuous blinks makes her movement during a fight incredibly unpredictable, and the shield granted by each skill cast gives her considerable survivability. Ultimate skill, Valkyrie's Descent. Freya spreads out her wings and enters Valkyrie mode, gaining a shield and max charges of Sacred Orb. She also changes her weapon to a polearm for increased attack range and splash damage. With this skill, the new Freya's gameplay is further enhanced. By instantly getting max Sacred Orb charges, you can create even more combo possibilities. The increased attack range also works well with her passive. For gear choices, Fight Demo.
Northern Vale! Enemy has been slain! Double kill! Ally has been slain. Your team destroyed a turret! A scar is the testament of a warrior's honor. People of Northern Vale may be defeated, but follow my lead and march onward! Spirits of Northern Vale, guide me! You have slain... Spirits of Northern Vale, guide me! You have slain an enemy! An enemy has been slain! Double kill! Our inhibitor turret is under attack. Northern Vale, guide me! An enemy has been slain! Shut down! Double kill! A scar is the testament of a warrior's honor.
Starting with his passive, the Simian God. Sun's passive now reduces physical defense of nearby enemies, according to certain percentages. Skill 1, Endless Variety. Sun's first skill now has a new name, Endless Variety. This skill serves a long distance poke effect and deals a certain amount of damage to enemy units. Instantaneous move. Sun locks onto a designated enemy and then charges towards the enemy target, striking them with his golden staff. Ultimate clone techniques. After the revamp, clone techniques only summons one doppelganger, but this doppelganger is stronger than Sun himself. You guessed it, enemy units will be unable to target Sun while he's invisible, making Sun virtually invincible during this time.
Show me some real talent! The blood of monkey would never die. Go, boys!